with a weight of about 25 kgs on our back and carrying a rifle. Then having certain physical examinations with obviously certain varying criteria. But yes, we underwent the same training. So despite undergoing the same training, you have never called a male IPS officer, particularly a male IPS officer. But when you see a female in uniform, you say it is necessary to call her a female IPS officer. So that is a point where we have to begin thinking about an attitudinal change. Never would I promote myself or my subordinates by saying she is a woman officer and that is a male officer. We have undergone the same training. Equality starts there. Equality starts with me. So if I hold on to my gender and say that based on my gender, I should be given certain privileges and I should not, that requires a certain thought that you have to take a step behind and reconsider such things. Like, for example, when we were in training, we have undergone the same rigors of training, may it be physical, may it be mental, may it be emotional. So when we graduate out of an institution of the police academy, and then when you have the differentiation based on gender, it is not something which we would like to accept very openly. Number two, when I have come into the field and you're exposed to the darker side of humanity, where we are exposed to so much crime, where we are exposed to the darker side of what humans actually can be, it's really surprising what can be in store. For example, we feel that women related crimes require a lot of attention, no doubt, obviously. But that comes from the fact that women are considered vulnerable. Now, that vulnerability, again, is societally created. Over a period of time, these are certain restrictions based on societal norms, based on traditions, based on certain religious perceptions about women. Women have been considered the inferior gender. This obviously has undergone a change, but we cannot say that it has completely gone. For example, number one, when we celebrate a Women Equality Day, we show that we are yet a long way to go when we actually mean business about equal rights for women. Number two, when we speak of crimes, and we speak of crimes as a whole, but we obviously specify more on women-related crimes. Why? Aren't male also exposed to certain crimes of the same nature? Over a period of time, I guess many of y'all understand that even say sexual crimes of sexual nature, even men undergo the same, but they are not discussed. Why? Because women have grabbed a very important part in discussions. We have to speak about women as a separate identity. When we speak of cyber crimes, we say that a lot of women are cyber stalked, there's sexual harassment, there is cyber stalking, cyber harassment. But being from this side of the administration, being from this side of power and authority, I can give you statistics and figures to tell you that men are equally exposed. It is not about man versus women. In a cyberspace, everything is anonymous. But what goes all out is when a woman is affected. So it is my urge that all the young guys who are listening out to me to realize that these are tiny aspects. To realize, should women actually occupy such an important position in when we in specific discussions. Like, for example, the academy thought it really right to have a woman speak on Women Equality Day. I mean, these kind of things have to change. We have to bring about a perception change. It would have been a more balanced panel if probably there was a woman, that is like there was me, and maybe there was a male counterpart. So it is a more neutral platform to discuss. One main gate থেকে okay e gate থেকে হ্যাঁ টিভি অন ছিল just 1 minute. I'm so sorry. We're in the middle of a law and order, so I just had to attend. So, yes, so when we are speaking of gendered concepts, like when we speak about women, a Women's Day, a Women's Equality Day, uh, and when we bring a woman on the same platform to speak about it, I think that itself is a problem, and that is something we have to address. It can't happen overnight. It is something that requires gradual progression. But we as a younger generation have to take the lead. We have to understand. So, for example, we have women commissions, we have women related crimes, and always the investigating officer or the members of such committees are women. When you have a sexual harassment cell, a sexual harassment committee in a college, it's usually accompanied by women. So we, as a society, have taken it for granted, like these kind of things, like women-related issues, women equality, women rights, are best addressed by women. This is not equality. Equality is where we are working together. I am taking like progressive stand. Like when we speak of women-related issues, when we speak about women-related crimes, I include men on board. When there is a law and order issue, usually they say the male counterparts are always good because they have a particular body stature. They are more masculine, more aggressive. They can address better, but that is not true. If for example, if there is some issue like in policing, we are exposed to stone pelting, or we are exposed to a huge law and order, but if we say that no, I'm a woman and I'm going to stand behind, that is not the quality of a leader. That, I wouldn't say that is not the quality of a woman IPS officer, but it is not the quality of a leader. Today, as I stand in front of any kind of law and order, in front of any issue, irrespective of my gender, irrespective of my gender, I am going to perform. I would not expect anybody to provide me with certain opportunities, certain obstacles, or certain kind of what do you say, a path to make it easy for me. If it is not easy for if it's not easy for my male part, if my male counterpart is exposed to stone pelting, why shouldn't I? If my male counterpart is exposed to say lathi charge, if he's supposed to lathi charge, why can't I? This is important. I am not going to be standing behind taking a stand of being more in the administrative role. When I when I wear the uniform, I have certain responsibility and I would work as hard as my male counterpart. This is not about he versus she. The struggle today is to ensure that we unite to make it an us, to make it as a we. It is no longer the man versus the woman. It is a struggle. It is a process where all men, all women, all transgenders, for example, have to work together to make the world a better place. Uh, like I thought I would, because it's in current times, there are lots of people asking, what is it about menstruation period? During your menstruation, should you be given leave? Then, for example, should marital rape be accepted? These are points, these are debates of great concern. When somebody says if you give a woman her menstruation leave, you give her maternity leave, you are celebrating her gender. But I guess these are certain biological understandings which have to be accepted, that yes, a woman has a certain different biological clock, which is not necessarily inferior, but yes, it's different. And the more you try to accept it, the more you accept your nature, and thus you can nurture it. If you fight against the biological nature of a body, of a human being, you are going against the very nature of what it constitutes it. Respect what nature has given and nurture it. It is what is going to keep you going. So I thought when we're speaking of Women Equality Day, it is high time that even small things, like when we say, oh, a woman driver, oh, the person who just got into an accident, it must be the woman driver's fault. Oh, it was done so well, the law and order was handled so well, was it a male officer? Suddenly if it's a female officer, why should your eyes become big? Like that's not how it works, right? So again, when we are having a panel, when we are having a discussion of this sort, and you have only a female officer talking about women equality, I think that's something we should consider. When we have women committee, sexual harassment committee, this committee for women and that committee for women, let's have a panel which is more integrated. Women today are no longer going to be quiet, and we as a generation, the younger generation, we are go-getters, man. We are revolutionaries, and we have it in us. All we need is to realize the potential that is within us, understand that we as women need not prove a man to be better. All we have to do is just be there. Do not expect certain benefits to be given to you. Do not expect certain opportunities and threats. Yes, obviously, in a patriarchal mindset, it takes time. You have to break certain shackles, you have to break certain obstacles. But I guess we are progressing. Like, we definitely are progressing. It's a journey that will take time. It's a journey that requires your attention, your dedication, and sincerity. Where I feel it is not just women who can make equality a real term, but also men. They have to understand. Like when it comes to issues at home, like domestic issues, the male should have an equal say, should have an equal right over there. When it comes to office work, the male and female should have an equal bearing. When it comes to childbearing, when it comes to childcare, the male and female have to take a definite role. So yes, we are going ahead. Initially, it was just maternity leave that was given to people in offices. Today, paternity leave is becoming a reality. In places, it has become a reality. So I feel that you guys, when you all go ahead in whatever career paths that you choose, it is necessary that you stand by this. Stand by the fact that women are not inferior. We are not the fairer sex. We are just the other part of mankind. We are just the other part of humankind. Mankind has to change to humankind, and that onus lies upon us. So I thought I would end it here. There's not much to say because I personally feel that this topic is really close to me, to the extent that I am not somebody who advocates a Women's Day, who does not advocate a Women's Equality Day. But since it already exists, and we need somebody to talk about it, here I am. And I would like to thank you all for joining. And if you think you want to join out to me, reach out to me. I have started a blog, and I write about a lot of topics that are really close to my heart. Maybe something related to gender, maybe something related to the civil service examination, something about working in the police. I am working on the same. So in the chat box to the side, I am putting my what do you say? I'm putting my WordPress blog account. It would be really nice if you all could reach out to me over there in case you feel you want to, you know, want to know more about me, hear my views about many things. I would really be glad to reach out to you over there. And just wanting to end on a really nice note, saying that at the end, all of us have to maintain our roots. Our roots make us humble, but we also need to have wings to enable us to fly, because that is going to make us ambitious. Women should realize that ambition is important, but not just women. It is males, it is transgenders, everybody. Equality is something that comes with every thought in your brain. With every thought in your brain, it is your choice, it is your decision. Don't ever compartmentalize yourself as being a woman. So you should have certain, you should have certain privileges, you should have certain disadvantages, your opportunities, your threats. It is all going to vary. Just as males face a lot of challenges, lots of opportunities, lots of threats, women obviously face a lot of challenges and threats. I would like to conclude by saying that yes, women have progressed. We as a gender have gone a great path ahead. But yes, there's a lot to do, and that change can happen with you. Bring in that change within yourself. Say that I am a woman, and I'm not going to be restricted by my identity. Number two, I will not consider certain opportunities, certain stress that is coming onto me just because I'm a woman. And number three, stop the whole putting a person, putting a woman, putting a certain issue in the construct of gender by saying bad drivers are women, good housemakers are women. That is something you can change, that is something we can change and thus make a change. So thank you for having me on board. It obviously is my pleasure, and I hope you all can reach out to me on my blog, which I have like posted on the message chat over here. And wishing you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. If anybody has anything to ask, do feel free to ask.
So somebody is asking me what was my inspiration to become an IPS officer. So obviously it is, when you appear for the civil service examination, wanting to get into the police service was one of my second preferences. But obviously I took it up. So a lot of people actually ask me, why did I take it up and why do I continue to be in the service? So, this obviously traces back to the fact that I always considered myself to be of a particular type. That's what, I don't want to go very blatant about this, but I considered myself to be a certain type. I never saw myself being a police officer, being somebody who's in uniform. But when I got the opportunity, I thought I had to challenge myself. I had to see where this takes me. I'm not going to lose out on anything, right? So I actually took it up as a challenge for myself, for my own mental well-being, for my own physical and mental strength. I took it up to know that why is it that I felt I couldn't fit in. Let me see what is it that I don't have. And I think it's been 3 years into service, and I think I'm doing a fairly good job. I'm maintaining a great balance between a certain amount of intelligence quotient, a certain amount of emotional quotient, and that balance I think is actually necessary in a police officer and in a person who's a police leader. So I guess my inspiration to continue remaining in the IPS was a certain ego that was there within me, where I wanted to challenge myself. And here I stand with a lot of pride and with a lot of challenges, a lot of responsibilities on my shoulder, but I obviously take it with a lot of pride. So I hope I answer you, Meghna. Uh, what is your message to a person who aims to be a civil servant? That when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. I guess, the entire preparation for the civil service examination or to become a civil servant is like a boxing ring. You're like boxed and you're like sweating and you're bleeding and all of that. But at the end, you are going to get up. You have to get up. Probably all bloody, all sweaty, with a lot of injuries, maybe emotional, maybe physical, maybe mental, but you're going to stand up much strong. So, when you are preparing to be a civil servant, honesty to your work, integrity, having a certain inner voice, your conscience, which will help you while you're preparing for the examination and which will help you otherwise as well. Both these times, always have your head clear, know what you mean, show everybody that you mean business, and I guess things will just flow. Yes, you have to work very hard, be very sincere, be very dedicated with what you have, but always understand that if you want something, go ahead and get it, because it is very much capable. Ma'am, do I have a role model? Anupama is asking. Obviously, I do not look up to any one person per se, but I definitely look up to my grandfather. My grandfather was a physics professor in a college in Bombay, and I obviously had only initial few years with him, but I think he's left a very impressionable impact on me because of his way of working. So he's always been somebody who doesn't shout, who has never raised his voice, never raised his hand, but he always got his work done. And he always meant business based on honesty and integrity. So when he passed away when I was in my eighth standard, but in that time period till maybe from the age of like since the time I was born till the age of 12, he has had like such a great impact on me about the kind of person I want to be. So obviously, career, profession is a very secondary thing. I look up to him to be my role model, to be a particular type of a human being. When I become a better human being, I feel I can be a better police officer, I can be a better friend, I can be a better sister, I can be a better leader. So yes, I look up to my grandfather when it comes to being a better human being, and thus consider him as a very crucial person who has impacted my life. Amin is asking me what do I feel about Kerala. Obviously, it's a nice place. It has one of the most toughest languages, but I think I'm doing great. I am taking conscious efforts to learn the language and get myself accustomed. It's a place which is really beautiful, and yes, here everybody knows their rights. But I guess the younger generation should go out there and also realize that we have certain duties as well. So, expecting a balance of rights and duties, people are very much aware of themselves, very much aware of things around them. So, that's a great opportunity to work. So, even crime, when we consider it, is more of the intellectual nature. So, it enables you to have your brains going like working harder. So, that's great. With regard to the other and the more lighter part of Kerala, I really love the food out here. I love my idiyappams and I love my appams. Uh, I love it with mean curry. So I think I am doing a great job here. A long way to go, but I think we're going. I think I'm going to do fine. Thank you. Does anybody have anything else to ask? Okay. So I would like to conclude by saying you'll have been a great and patient audience. Obviously, you'll have to be patient because you'll are on screens that probably are muted. But it's nice to reach out to people who are probably in a generation that you can actually relate to. So please understand that you can work hard, you can achieve whatever you want. Understand that you have a really important role to make this country, to make this place, make the world a better place. If you put your hands onto this, that you want to make a change, trust me, nobody can stop you. You're going to be unstoppable. And I believe that about me. If I put my eyes and put my head onto something, I very well am going to go achieve it. And I think that is something that's going to go ahead with me, enable me to be more honest, enable me to be more, have a more integrity based approach. Realize that at the end we all work as a team. Like even today when I stand as a leader and I reach out to my subordinates, I yes, sometimes you act as a boss, but sometimes and most of the times you have to act as a team. You have to accept that you don't know many things. That's okay. You reach out to people, they will be ready to help you. Work as a team. That's when everybody feels that they are part of the success of a particular thing. Otherwise, it's no great to enjoy success alone. That's what I feel. Failure, you're obviously going to be alone. But if success is also going to be alone, I think that's going to be quite boring. So you should have lots of people who are with you, work towards success, and at the end, and at the final result, you'll see many more faces smiling other than yours. And I think that's definitely worth it. It's definitely something you would want to keep in your heart before you go to sleep. So, thank you for having me, and it's been great. And I hope you all can reach out to me on my blog if you feel. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very great section. And thank you so much for taking time from a busy schedule and being with us. Now, few of you can just say feedback about the section.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session. It was indeed very informative as well as an encouraging one. Based on the topic, are women treated equally in modern era? You could share many experiences from your own life. This short span of time is quite worthy, ma'am. Thank you.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. The message you have given to us was very inspirative and helped me to get out of my comfort zone. On behalf of NSS ACTCE and everyone present here, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Miss Aishwarya Dongre ma'am to spend the time with us. It was such an informative and very interesting session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much once again.